Introduction to Blender 2.8 Constraints and Drivers. Before you get started, there are a few things that you'll have to set up, especially if you're going to keyframe enabling and disabling any constraints during the animation. Firstly, you will want to insert a keyframe for enabling or disabling a modifier, and you will want to insert a visual keyframe for the object every time before enabling or disabling a constraint. Constraints do not override property data, and when a constraint is disabled, the object's property will revert to its original state. If the property has keyframes, it will revert to the value of the last keyframe, or the value it would be if you changed the extrapolation mode to be linear or cyclic. Not all changes can be keyframed. One example of this is in the tracking group. Although the stretch2 constraint stretches the object, it does not affect the scale values for the object. Here, I have used the follow path constraint on this object to make it orbit around the origin point. I have used the limit distance constraint so that this object is never more than the distance indicated. And to show that the distance does not exceed this value, I have a third object with a track2 constraint that makes it point to the object that is following the path. I have also limited its rotation so that only its z-axis is being changed. Of all the constraints, I have used copy rotation, location, limit distance, limit rotation for doors, stretch 2, and I'm sure that I have used the track 2 constraint at some point, but I cannot remember what I used it for. Drivers can be used to automatically control a lot of properties that constraints cannot. They can also be used to link two completely unrelated properties together and can add, subtract, multiply, and divide values. It is very easy to take more time to use the driver to control something that a constraint could have been used for. Drivers can sometimes take a little trial and error, though for the most part, I have found that they have saved a lot of time whenever I have used them. I have used drivers to control the color values of a material, the rotation of an object, and the intensity of a light source. Here, I have used a driver to link the z-rotation of one object to the follow path constraint offset value of another object. This was a long topic, and if you are still here, I would like to thank you for watching the whole video, and happy animating.